What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to share with you a story, just like you've seen in the title, a story of a man who almost took down the market in one day. A trader who was trading in his bedroom and he almost made $1 billion in one day, in fact in a few minutes, trading the market. And the way he did it is very fascinating and it is very interesting. So this is what happened. There was this one trader who used to work in the New York Stock Exchange. There's this one trader who used to work in the New York Stock Exchange, and he was a very prominent figure there because seems like he had a big position in the office. So what traders do in the stock exchanges is they get money from either banks or hedge funds or literally anyone who has money, and maybe they want to transact that money into change it into a certain currency, because if it's a lot of money they can't just do it in one transaction. It will maybe affect the market, or some orders will fill in a price where they don't want. So they give the money to a trader and they tell them, we want to do this transaction at a certain price. So the traders, they will wait for that price or try to manipulate the market to move to that price so that they can place their trades. So when this guy was working in the stock exchange there in Wall Street, he realized that there was something the big institutions were using. And I know if you are trading, you already know the secret people who are fighting against in the market, because it's always said that retail traders are fighting with the big institutions like the banks, countries, central banks of countries, all that. So now when he was working there, he realized that there was a practice that was going on whereby there was technology that was being used to fill those orders. For example, you want to make an order for $100 million, to buy $100 million. When you place that order, maybe you'll place 100,000, maybe you'll place 100,000 trades of a sim maybe you'll place 100,000 trades of a very simple, maybe you'll place 100,000 trades divided into equal, maybe you'll place 100,000 trades divided into equal proportions so that you don't just flood the market with a lot of money. Now, what they were using computer and they were using some code to run it, and that is what is called high frequency trading. They are making like millions of trades in 1 second, in minutes. So this is what they used to do. They place a big order of like 5,000 trades of maybe a value of 100 million. Then when the market sees a huge demand at a certain price point, that buying pressure would put the market to that price so that those orders can be fulfilled. But then again, immediately before the orders get fulfilled, they cancel all the orders. And you need to know that this is happening in microseconds because they are using computers and code. So you find it that the banks and the big institutions actually at some point had the power to manipulate the market just by placing a bunch of orders, giving in that market pressure, and then execute their trades at a value that they want. But now a big problem came in when other banks also started using their own high frequency trading robots or bots. Now some banks and institutions and hedge funds ended up losing a lot of money because other banks were using high frequency trading. They will put pressure in the market, the prices will drop, traders will lose money, banks will lose money because the market was not forming in its own natural way. There was something artificial behind the market. The market was not moving according to the economy, it was moving according to artificial demand that had been created which was not realistic. Now, when this guy stopped working there, he knew everything those guys were doing, but then he had an idea. And this idea led this guy to turn almost $200,000 into hundred and something million dollars in one day. So this is what happened. This guy, since he had all the code, he copied the code from the institutional bank that he was working with, and he created his own trading bot, high frequency bot. So he place orders in the market, put that market pressure. Before the orders get filled, he cancels them, and just like that, he manipulated the market and made money. So this went on for some time, and this guy was bringing in money. When I say this guy was bringing in money, you won't believe me. So one day, this guy woke up in the morning. It was a good day. Turned on his robot, but then that day there was something that distracted him. I don't know if someone called him to the door, maybe someone knocked his door, but something happened that forced him to leave his bedroom where he usually trades. And how he usually did it, he will turn on the robot will run for like 10 minutes, then he will turn it off. But now this day, he went away and stayed for almost 2 hours without stayed for almost 2 hours without coming back to the house, which means the robot was running for 2 hours straight, and this was a very big problem. After he's completed doing all his errands, he came back, and of course, traders have so many screens. Here they're watching the news, here they are watching the markets, here they are watching I don't know what. Now he saw breaking news on the news that the stock market or the market had fallen by almost 33% in a few minutes, and he knew there was a big problem because he knew when he left the room he didn't clean up everything. Now the story was everywhere, news was picking up everything was in chaos, and now the investigators wanted to know what is happening to the market. And very quick they realized that there was a very big bunch of orders that had been placed, which were later not filled because the person now the main reason for me telling this story is just to show you how the market can be manipulated by the big institutions. When you're trading, don't just think everything happens naturally. Sometimes when you see some types of market structure, you should run away, because you should know that there are some big players in the market, and your effort is just like a drop of water in the ocean. You cannot beat them. They are going to beat you. That's why sometimes the speed of execution of your trades is going to save you, because you'll find some other brokers, they have like 3 minutes delay, 2 minutes delay. No, you need to have a broker on a platform which is very fast and executes your trades in seconds. That's why I always recommend you use a trusted, reliable broker who has many users and has been available for a very long period of time. Olymp Trade has over 100 million trusted users. They take good care of their customers, and it's a very good platform. You can be comfortable depositing your money because you know they have very fast withdrawals. Also, you can click the link in the description to create you can click the link in the description to create a trading account with olymptrade.com. You can always join the Telegram channel to get more access, and sometimes I do giveaways, and sometimes I give signals just for the people in the Telegram channel. Click that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.